everyone. My name is Ethan Min. I am a student worker here at Knapp Hall in Morgantown at West Virginia University, mainly through 4-H. And today I'll be guiding you guys through the activity of making a prosthetic or robotic hand. So say someone didn't have an arm for some reason or another. If they get an arm, an artificial arm or not man-made, that would be a prosthetic. So today we'll be making a prosthetic hand that will actually move and hopefully actually grab something by the end of it. So here are all the materials on the table. So our first thing we're going to do is I'm going to take some construction paper. I'm going to use this green one because it's nice and colorful. I'm going to take my pencil and I'm just going to trace my hand. So you want to make sure it's flat right there. And I'm just going to start tracing. You want to make sure you get all the fingers in there and there's enough space in between each finger to distinguish it. You also want to draw the base of the hand. You don't want to connect it. You kind of want to have the start of your arm as well. So we're going to start cutting it out. And there we go. We basically have a rough shape of my own hand. So now we're going to want to take our thin cardboard and kind of do the same thing with some extra steps. All right, so now we have a cardboard hand. You can see it's the same hand as our construction paper hand. You want the fingers to line up nicely for the steps we're about to take. All right, so now for the next steps, we're going to kind of transfer our cardboard onto our construction paper, but not all at once. We're gonna do it in sections. So the first thing you wanna do is you kind of wanna match where your fingers are, in terms of your hand. So for example, there's always going to be little creases on the inside of your hand, and those will be your joints where you can move those fingers. Your thumb is always going to be a little different, so we're only going to focus on these 4 fingers right here. And you can see the joints are all where the fingers meet the palm of your hand, which is this circle part right here. So I'm just going to make a little note on my own hand right here that this is the kind of joint line. And now you're going to cut right on that joint line. So when you cut it, you want to make sure that your fingers stay in the position that they're in. Alright, and now we should have our entire hand cut out and laid out in a very neat manner. So now we just have to kind of glue everything to our hand. And at each point, we're just gonna glue the cardboard to the construction paper. So now I'm going to go ahead and glue it. And you don't need a lot of glue each time, you just need enough. And you see we now have our cardboard glued on to our construction paper, and we're just going to do that for each section of the cardboard we have. Alright, so now your hand should kind of be looking like a skeleton's hand. And what we're going to do, each little section with the straws, each section of each finger, we're going to cut out a portion of that straw that fits on that section. So I will do a quick example right here. I want to mark out on the straw. You're going to cut on the straw. These are easy to lose, so like you just saw, it kind of flew. so I'll pick that up. We have a section straw right here. And you can see I measured it to where it'll fit on the bottom segment of my pinky finger. So there's two ways of doing this next part. You can either keep using the hot glue, or you can tape the straw onto here. I'll show you both ways. Alright, so we have the two upper segments, and now we're going to move on to this segment right here. We're going to do the same technique where it's going to make the straw bit a little bit longer, and we're going to angle it. So we're still going to cut to the length of it. So you see that the straw is at the length of the segment, but we're going to put it at an angle. So eventually when we put the string in, the string will go like that. Awesome. So we're going to do the same thing for the four fingers. So now we have a very colorful looking hand with some random, seemingly random stuff on it. And believe it or not, we're actually almost done. So one of the last steps is we're going to add a handle to this. So I'm just going to use a popsicle stick. I'm either going to glue or tape it to the back just like that. So when we turn around, we have a nice little handle to it. Alright, so now I have a handle, and look at that. We have a nice little handle for our little hand. So one of the last steps to make it move is we're going to add some string to it. And we're also going to take our beads. We're going to take our string, thread it through our bead, and we're just going to tie it to where that bead doesn't move up and down like that. Do it once, and I'll do it one more time just for safe measures. And the other end of the string, we're going to thread through a finger. So first straw, you can see it's threaded through. We want to also thread it through each of the other straws. And then you're just going to cut the string off around where the handle is. So that's one finger done. And when you pull the string, you bend the finger. Look at that. So pull the string, finger bends, pull the string, let go, finger straightens out. So that's pretty much how the hand works. And after you do this for each of the steps, you're basically done, but there's one final step at the end. All right, so the very last step you want to do after you have all your strings through each of the straws, so whenever you pull on all of them, you want to thread all these strings through the one straw right here. Now, if you have all of that, you have a working hand. So you can kind of bend at the joints or at the parts where these straws and cardboard are not attached to the construction paper. And just like that, the finger will bend a bit easier. That's all.